They tricked me. They said that because my name was Brown and I was alphabetically first, they would throw me up last, and I was prepared for last. Just to assure you that anybody who's heard me speak, there are three things you should relax about. There are no old jokes, no old stories, and I have a script. Good evening, everyone. I want to first congratulate my fellow inductees, Connie, Wanda, Lori, Heather, Al, Keith, Todd, and the 1988 Blue Bombers. It's an honor to be a part of the class of 2014. I also want to thank Racquetball Manitoba for nominating me for induction into the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame. I've been to this dinner many times over the years, and I've witnessed the induction of extraordinary men and women whose dedication to sport is inspiring. It's humbling, to say the least, to now be included in this very accomplished group of people. Since I received word from the Hall of Fame back in June, I've had some time to reflect back on how sport has shaped my life. I developed a passion for sports early on. I grew up in a military family, which can be a very nomadic lifestyle. One of the biggest challenges I faced as a young boy was how to integrate into a new community, especially given that we often moved in the middle of summer and usually well before school started. I learned quickly that the surest way to fit in was to prove yourself on the field of play. If you could hit a baseball, throw a football, or drain a three-pointer, friendships followed in abundance. I also experienced firsthand the unique differences between team and individual sports and how each one impacted me differently. It's one thing to rely on teammates in a crucial situation and completely different when you're on your own. When we moved to Winnipeg in grade 12 for me, a friend made me an offer that changed my perspective completely. He asked me to help him coach a hockey team of young men who were only a few years younger than we were at the time. And I coached that team for 3 years, and the experience was, to say the least, life-changing. Coaching became a new passion for me. I knew how important coaches have been to me over the years, but to function in that role instilled in me an appreciation for the myriad of skills you must have to succeed. Hockey ended for me, but at the age of 24, I discovered racquetball. There was a court in the apartment complex we lived in, and I was hooked. This was a new game that had everything I craved. It had speed, power, finesse, strategy. You could play both singles and doubles, and best of all, the weather was never a factor. I played as much as possible. I competed in a few tournaments and had early success. This was clearly the sport for me. The wheels, however, came off in my fourth tournament. I dreamed that I could be a professional racquetball player. I was paired against a 15-year-old kid who looked to me as if he would struggle tying his own shoelaces. In what I knew was record time, I was beaten soundly. Humiliated might be a better word. I'd never seen such a combination of speed, precision, and yes, confidence. It appeared that my future in this new emerging sport would be limited. For the second time in my life, coaching became my salvation. As a relatively young sport, racquetball was embracing the value of coaching, and I eagerly completed my first level of certification. From that point on, opportunities presented themselves on a regular basis. I coached our provincial team in 1983 at the 1983 Canada Games, and in 1984 I was selected to coach our national team. Racquetball was having its first national team at the second ever World Championships. Despite the odds, we had a very successful Worlds, and little did I know this opportunity would prove to be the stepping stone for an almost 30-year career. I've had a front row seat for the formative years in racquetball, both in Canada and on the international stage. I witnessed historic wins and watched athletes battle through seemingly crippling adversity to accomplish things they never thought possible. I watched teams come together and perform at a peak level on many occasions, despite the individual nature of my sport. It's rare that we get a chance to represent our city, province, and country, and racquetball gave that to me many, many times. 4 years ago, my career changed 180 degrees. I became part of the great team at the Boys and Girls Clubs in Winnipeg, and this was an exciting new opportunity for me, and my only regret was that my involvement in sport was going to be minimal at best. I also made the very difficult decision that I was going to retire from coaching elite athletes. After a few months in my new position, my passion for sport was reaffirmed for me in a way I did not expect. What I had not known was the scope of the work the Boys and Girls Clubs does in the area of sport and physical literacy. I quickly began to appreciate the work this organization had been doing for many years, removing barriers so that children and youth in Winnipeg could be given a chance to play. I found myself attending games, talking shop with our coaches, driving our vans when needed, and attending meetings at Sport Manitoba like I always had. My fear of becoming disconnected was unfounded, and in fact, re-engaging with sport at the grassroots level was just what I needed at the time. Sport's given me many things. I have a network of friends, not only here at home, but across Canada and around the world. I've been given the chance to learn leadership skills both in the classroom and, more importantly, on the field of play. I've had the privilege to be mentored by extraordinary people who have given me their time and their wisdom whenever asked. This is the problem with a script as opposed to reading from your heart, which I normally do. I've seen a good part of the world and gained a deep appreciation for how different our cultures can be, but at our core, how much we're the same. I've developed an ever-increasing sense of pride in my city and my country. The saying goes that you cannot really appreciate where you come from unless you spend some time away. That's very true for me. Sports played a major role in influencing who I am today. I've taken much more than I could ever hope to give back. I'm not naive enough to think that I got here tonight on my own. Many people had a stake in my career. Racquetball Manitoba, Racquetball Canada, the International Racquetball Federation gave me coaching and leadership opportunities I never could have hoped for. Sport Manitoba, the Canadian Sports Centre Manitoba, the National Coaching Institute of Manitoba, Coaching Manitoba, proved to me time and time again that our sport development system here at home is as good as there is anywhere in this world. Coming from Winnipeg and striving to be the best in the world is more than possible. The Canadian Olympic Committee, Coaches of Canada, the Coaching Association of Canada showed me excellence at the national and international levels. I can never acknowledge enough the roles these organizations have played in allowing me to pursue my dreams. I share this honor with some very special people tonight. Many of my friends and family are here tonight, and I thank you for not only supporting me over the years, but on this night in particular. My mother and brother have traveled here from Nova Scotia. Thanks, Mom and Kris, for making the journey. There are two world-class athletes here tonight who have helped me extend my sport career long past when it should have ended. I have long held the theory, and you should write this down, that the best way to be a great coach is to just surround yourselves with great athletes. You should do everything you can to deter the not-so-great. These two athletes, I told you should write that down. These two athletes are proof positive that my theory is correct. Sherman Greenfeld, Sherman's over here on my right, is a two-time world champion and a member of this Hall of Fame. And as you well know, he's the 15-year-old who crushed my hopes in the fourth tournament. And having thought about that, maybe I could have been the second best player in the world. Jen Saunders is one of the best racquetball players Canada's ever produced, and certainly will be in this Hall of Fame. And I have enjoyed every minute of our time together and the adventures we shared. More importantly, I value our friendship. There are two very special people with me tonight to whom I owe a debt I can never repay. Those two people are my son Matthew and my wife Susan. I knew this would be a tough part. Both of them have sacrificed more than even I can imagine so that I could pursue my dreams. Not once did either of them complain about missed family time while I was away in some other part of the world. Not only did they not complain, but they've been my coaches. On many occasions, Matt and Susan provided just the right amount of encouragement to help me get past a roadblock. Conversely, they always knew how to celebrate the big wins, and tonight's induction dinner certainly qualifies as one of those occasions. I love both of you, and I cannot thank you enough for your love and support. I wouldn't be here tonight without you. And my last thank you goes to the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame. I will cherish this incredible honor the rest of my life. Thank you.